Hey Ross World, my money makes money, and I've done a video similar to this before. These are the 5 biggest factors that affect your credit score. First and foremost is your payment history. Your payment history makes up 35% of your credit score. This is the most important step, as I stated. And this is basically exactly what it is. It's self-explanatory, quite frankly. When you look at it, think about it like this. It looks at how many times you were late, whether it's 30, 60, 90, 120, 120 plus. Do you have any accounts and collections? All these things are factors in the raising or the lowering of your credit score. So that is the meat and potatoes. And I'm only going over the 5 biggest because these are the ones that make up your credit score. And don't forget also with your payment history, it also looks at bankruptcies, charge-offs, and also lien. Number 2 is the amount owed. This makes up 30% of your credit score. This looks at how much money do you actually owe. And what this really is when people talk about the debt to income ratio, how much credit do you have on the books versus how much credit you are using. Now, some people like to have zero debt, but for some strange reason in this special credit algorithm, when you really don't owe anything, that can actually lower your credit score because lenders are not feeling as though, okay, we don't really have a good feeling that this person is utilizing their credit properly. And everybody uses kind of the $1,000 mark. So if I have $1,000, I don't want to use over 300%. That's over 30% of the credit you have on the books. Now, some people have like credit cards, maybe 4 or 5 of them that equals 100,000. Then of course, that would be no more than 30,000. So staying below that threshold of 30% is actually healthy for your credit. It's actually healthy for your credit score in order for your credit score to actually raise. Now, I know a lot of people, you're not big into debt, but I like to pay my bills with my credit card. So it does show utilization of my credit. And before that 30-day mark hit, I pay it off. The third thing that really affects your credit score is the length of your credit history. That makes up 15%. Now, depending on how long you had these accounts, the longer the accounts that you have been paying or have paid off that was in good standing really helps your credit score. So it's not so much of how many you have, but you do want to have a few. But really, how long have you shown the utilization of credit? How good is that credit history as you were paying off? Was any of your payments ever late? Were you always on time? These are factors that actually help raise your credit score when they look back and look at your history. Think of it like this. You know somebody, you're a boss, you're a supervisor, you need to hire somebody. Someone was a convicted felon and the other person won. Now, this is not about being discriminatory against someone who maybe did a crime or whatever, but when it comes to credit, that's exactly what it is. They're going to take the person who doesn't have any mark. You're going to get the best loan for your money. Now, this other potential person, they may still get a loan, but at a higher interest rate. So all these things affect your credit score, and that's what you have to be very cognizant of to keep a good, clean credit history. Pay your bills on time. The fourth one is new credit. That makes up 10% of your credit score. Now, this new credit thing is really kind of weird in my opinion. It's really kind of unorthodox in a sense because the way FICO looks at it and Vantage look at it quite differently, but the way they look at it as a person who opens up several different accounts in a short time frame is actually at risk for high credit. This person really needs a high cash flow, and this would decrease your account significantly. And what I mean by this, because I've actually went through this myself, Roswell. I bought a house. I bought 2 new cars. My credit took a major hit. Now, what I should have done, I should have stretched that over in a course of maybe 6 to 9 months. But I did this all within 3 months. So I don't know what that tells the credit agencies. I don't know how this algorithm works up into all my credit. I have no idea. But the only thing I know is I've done my research extensively on this. And when you open up several accounts in a very short time frame, it hurts your credit. So be very aware of that and track it really well. Now, last but not least, the number 5th one is the types of credit you have in use. That makes up 10% as well. The types of credit you have in use on your credit report. Not only do they look at the number of accounts you have, They look at the different types. And this is kind of like a salad, guys. They look at the mortgage, they look at the credit cards, they look at installment loans, and they look at store accounts. All these help affect your credit score, whether it be raising it or lowering it. And once again, there's no special formula, but there is a science to this. Now, all these accounts, you want to have a good payment history. You want to make sure you don't open up accounts altogether. You want to make sure that you're not utilizing your credit over 30%, depending on how much credit you have on your credit reports. All these are factors of raising and lower your credit score. So be cognizant, be aware, be vigilant in what you're putting on your credit and what you're taking off. This may affect your credit score. This is Ross World. My money makes money. I'm out.